Hello, basketball fans. It's me, DC, here to break down the Week 7 NBA schedule to help you get ready to set your fantasy lineups. It's Friday. If you're in the U.S., I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I doubt you celebrate elsewhere. I know Canada, yours is already passed. I hope you had a good one a month ago or whatever. Let's get right into the Week 7 schedule by looking backwards at pace and defensive efficiency over the last 6 weeks. All right, the pace is based on Hollinger's PER, and defensive efficiency comes from cleaning the glass because they cut out the garbage time. I like to mention, give them a little plug because they do cool stuff on that stats website. Anyway, the teams you want to go against the most. Memphis, which surprised me. The pace didn't change, but their defensive efficiency is the one you want to attack the most. They're just not down on defense. Maybe that's what's happening in the paint. Steven Adams isn't great. They play a stretch 5 and stuff like that. The team's still great. Love them. Rocking my Grizzlies gear right now. But Memphis is who you want to attack. Orlando, Lakers, Houston, Sacramento. Sacramento I want to talk about for a minute. Their pace is at 99.6 right now. Luke Walton got fired, and it seems like the general consensus, myself included, is that Sacramento should be playing faster, right? They should be driving the ball down people's throats. Fox should be running. That feels like naturally when they're going to be at their best. If you disagree with it, awesome. Leave a comment. Let's talk about it. Totally open to other points of view. But what's interesting is last week when we did this video, Sacramento was at 103.4. Now they're at 99.6. Their pace has actually slowed down. I know Luke Walton was let go during the week. Actually, yeah, during the week. He was let go on Sunday, right before I recorded that video. So it's interesting to see it drop so much. I don't know if it's the personnel changes, Bagley getting a little more run and stuff like that, or just coaching hasn't adjusted. But let's watch that over the next couple of weeks, because I think it's interesting basketball stuff. Down at the bottom, Golden State, Miami. Washington's still hanging down there. Doesn't look like they're going to give that up. They've got a slow pace and a pretty good defensive efficiency. Boston, Minnesota, Utah. Now, Utah and Cleveland are up a little higher. Cleveland specifically, Mobley went out. Now they got Love in there and Lauri Markkanen. That's not going to help their defensive efficiency. Their pace stayed about the same, but their defense went from, I got it up, 106 to 107.2. Which I get is only a point, but over the course of 3 or 4 games, dragging up, the prior 5 weeks average, that means something. Mobley's going to be out another 2.5 weeks, I think, without a calendar in front of me. So we'll see what happens there, but he has a big impact. What's worth noting is Denver's completely dropped off this. The team is so injured right now. Feel pretty bad for the Nuggets fans. So both the pace has changed. They've started going a bit faster, and the defense has not been as good. So it's dropped them from last week. They were the very bottom team. Let me fact check that. Yes, the least desired team to go at 99.9. They're now up at 103.2, which puts them at like maybe 17th, 18th, right there in the middle of the pack. I mean, they're hurt. It's a rough team right now. Maybe this means people should give Jokic a little more defensive credit because he disappears and the subs come in here. But there's a lot going on. It's not like Jokic is the only one who's hurt. Let's take this and apply it to the Week 7 schedule to look at who's got the best teams to attack. All right, first thing we want to talk about every week right at the start, who only has 2 games? Detroit and the Lakers. I warned you last week. So it's going to be rough. Detroit at least has their 2 games are on streaming days. The Lakers, only one of them is. It's against Sacramento, so it's a decent matchup. But in your weekly lock leagues, you pretty much have to avoid them. That said, I'm in a weekly locks league. I still got LeBron, and I think I'm still going to play him because even 2 games of LeBron is better than 3 games of someone else. But if you have a weekly locks league and 4 games, you should legitimately sit down, take the averages, multiply the games, and take a look and see. Because it's possible if they get double the play time that they could outdo someone even as great as LeBron is. Even though it sounds a little weird, I don't have a better small forward option, so I'm not doing that. But beyond that, 8 teams have 4 games. Rattle them off real fast. Cleveland, Dallas, Houston, Clippers, Miami, New Orleans, Portland, Washington. Everyone else has 3 games. So most teams have 3 games. There's 20 of them. So you don't have to be too worried in weekly lock leagues if you're playing a 3-game week. But the 4 games are always at a premium, but especially now when most have 3. If you can stack a couple of those in there, you're really going to have an advantage. Otherwise, don't stress it too much. It's worth noting next week with 2 games, we've got Atlanta, Phoenix, and Toronto. So be careful. They've only got 2 games. Keep that in mind for what you're doing pickups at the end of the week. Maybe avoid those teams, although there's some interesting streaming stuff there that we'll talk about after we talk about some back-to-backs. All right, the back-to-backs this week are fairly well spread out, I think it helps that there's only 3 games for most teams, so there's less back-to-backs overall, although some of them still have it, which feels kind of dumb when you got 3 games. Come on, NBA, but whatever. If you want to use a move this week, week 6, to set you up for week 7, take a look at Indiana, the Clippers. They both have a game on Sunday that rolls into Monday, or Portland's the only team with that Monday, Tuesday back-to-back if you want to attack that there, okay? At the end of the week, take a look at this. Atlanta, Charlotte, Cleveland, and Washington all have a game there, back-to-back rolling into the next week. And Sunday's a great streaming day. It's our lowest volume day. We'll talk about more of streaming. It's only 4 games. So you may want to pencil in some of those moves, pick up a guy there, to end this week, because you'll definitely get to use them with only 4 games, and then you'll have someone for the next week. Now, I mentioned on the last screen, Atlanta only has 2 games, so one of their 2 games is on Mondays. Grab someone from Atlanta, play them against Charlotte Sunday, whoever they play on Monday, which I don't have in front of me right now, and then you cut bait because they've got a really weak week, the rest of it. But before I get ahead of myself and start talking about streaming, let's double check, run through some of the names that, sit on back-to-back, so we got to keep an eye out. Connolly, no back-to-back. Horford, yes, he does. So be careful there. Boston only has 3 games. If he's going to sit either Utah or Portland, you're going to get a 2-game week from him. It's going to be pretty disappointing. Siakam, no, he doesn't have a back-to-back. And hopefully Siakam's going to come off this list. He's on here because that's what he's doing when he's coming back from injury. He's playing right now, and OKC's got, OG and other guys hurt. So I haven't really adjusted. We'll keep him in there. Hopefully we'll get to take him off the list like we did Westbrook and not worry about it. Kemba, no back-to-back. Embiid, no back-to-back. LeVert, yes, on Monday. So Indiana is coming into this with the back-to-back. So check what happens Sunday or Monday. See if he's going to sit one of those. If he sits Sunday, you're probably okay for Monday. But be cautious because, again, Indiana only has 3 games. If he rests one of them, you're only getting 2 games. And none of Indiana's schedule's on the high-volume days. But if LeVert's playing, he's good enough, you're probably going to have him in there. And then Lowry needs to be on this list. Yes, Miami has 4 games, but they do have a back-to-back at Indiana and at the Bucks later in the week. Good chance he rests for one of them, but you'll still get 3 games out of him because it's one of the few teams with 4 games. Now, I can get it back into streaming. Let's change over the board. I've already started touching on it, but it's a great week for streaming, depending on your point of view. There's a lot of opportunities for streaming, right? So Monday's 9 games, Tuesday's 5, Wednesday's 9, Thursday's 5, Friday's 9. See a pattern here? And then Saturday goes to 7 and 4. So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday are all good streaming days. And even the high volume days at 9, they're not crazy. We don't have any of those 12 or 13 games. Now, the reason I say it's a great week for streaming, depending on your point of view, is last week, week 6, I consider a bad streaming week because there's not a ton of opportunities to attack. There's a whole day off on Thursday and everything. But maybe that's a little more casual. Maybe you don't have to think about the whole week like that. Whereas here, you might have to strategize a little more because there's a lot of opportunities to stream, and you probably only have so many moves you can do. So we're going to break it down. The team with the best streaming schedule this week, to me, is Portland. So Portland's got 4 games. They play Utah on Monday, and then they've got, streaming on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The extra nice thing besides the 4 games is that they don't play Sunday, which is the lowest volume day, which obviously you would want a chance to attack, but that means you can grab someone from Portland, say Nazir Little, maybe Larry Nance. Larry Nance hasn't done as much as I wanted. We'll get into it on the waiver show, but I'm going to try and sprinkle some names in here in case you're getting ahead of people. Anyway, Portland's got 4 games, and then you can try and pivot to someone for Sunday, which is why I was talking about those 4 teams that have a Sunday, Monday back-to-back, which again is Washington, Cleveland, Charlotte, and Atlanta. So if you can grab someone from Portland that you feel good about, that's what you need. You can rock them, and then you switch to any of these teams that play Sunday, but particularly someone with a back-to-back can save you some moves and really set you up for this week and get you feeling good going into next week, week 8. After Portland, my next tier streaming teams to take a look at is Memphis and the Knicks. They both play 3 games, only 3 games, but they're all streaming in the middle of the week. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. They avoid that Sunday game like I talked about, so you can always flip that player and try and get someone else in there on Sunday. If you want to go Toronto, they've got 3 games, but one of their 3 is that Sunday. So they've got the lowest volume days across the board, right? 5, and 4 game week, or days with 4 games. So that's great. If you don't have a bunch of moves and you just want to plug someone in there, try and look at some of the Toronto bigs. Maybe there's something there. Although I'd be pretty tempted to take a look. Like I said, Memphis, you can go grab Brandon Clark off most waivers right now. He's been playing pretty hot. You get the 3 streaming days, and if it's not working out, you pivot and you make that spot into a 4-game week. It still feels a little more valuable, and that's why Toronto's that 3rd tier for streaming teams this week. Overall, there's also just less games this week. We've got 48 games total this week. Last week there's 52. Sure, that's only 4 less, but there's an entire day off last week. So it's just a lower volume week overall. So there's a lot of ways you can go if you're tracking your stats, especially in categories league, to know whether you're looking for, some steals and blocks, or you need to just run up some points on some people. There may be other guys you're interested in, and we'll get into it on Sunday when we do the waiver show that we put out. If you got questions ahead of time, go ahead and leave them down below. I'll try and answer them in the comments or on Sunday's show. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Leave a comment, do all that stuff, and I'll be back this weekend to talk to you. Go out and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts, and I'll be back soon with another video for you.